Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Ekaterina Kim. I'm a Partner Success Manager for North America here in our Boston office. Welcome to the new series of webinars dedicated to system updates that happened this quarter. As the reminder, you can find these updates in our blog and in your personal portal, mygurtam.com. In addition, we started with this webinar. We will cover most significant updates on a quarterly basis on the webinar format. So today we will cover Wialon Hosting updates, or rather start with the Wialon Hosting updates. And again, as the reminder, we are covering not all of them, but the most significant to you. So the first one will be the dashboard mode for the monitoring panel. Also, we introduced the units list search field in the monitoring panel. Description for notifications, jobs, and reports. Speed notification when unit moves without a driver, an additional way to monitor your fleet, and another type of the report for Geofence or group of Geofences. So in order to make the user experience more smoother, we added the dashboard mode for the monitoring panel. It allows viewing the fleet key characteristics in the form of charts, as you see. There are 5 charts or widgets, if you please. They are available now. So first one is the connection state, motion state, Geofence with units, latest notification, and the mileage. For mileage, by default, you can view the data for the last 7 days for only 5 units. And please keep in mind that the calculation is working by GPS only. You can also choose what unit information to display by clicking on the range key here. So another update in regards to the dashboard also makes the unit management more efficient. Now, by clicking to the unit in any widget, you can see a small window, mini-map, to work with and obtain information related to the unit, either through the mini-map or the range key. By doing this, you don't need to exit the dashboard mode and perform all necessary or obtain all necessary information about the unit via the dashboard. Also, please keep in mind that the dashboard mode turned on by default for the users with a working list of 100 units and more. Also, by default, the service is available for the top users only. If you want to turn on this service for your sub-accounts, you can do it in a CMS, in account properties, or in a billing plan by enabling dashboard. So another update that we had this quarter in regards to the monitoring panel, we added the option to search through the units and the unit group via the search bar. Now you don't need to scroll through the entire list, even though it's in alphabetic order for you. You can just start typing the first letters of the unit or unit group, and that's how you can find it. So next one, I will show you the practice part, how these features work, and we will continue with our webinar. So that's our demo account. And here's the monitoring panel that you got used to. So here the list, normal list that you got used to. And here is the dashboard that I'm talking about. And right here, indeed, you see all that 5 options, 5 charts: the connection state, the motion state, geofences with units, latest notification, and the mileage. Mileage widget is editable. When you click there, you can choose 5 units, only 5. So let's see, blue bus coming back. So you see the information, it's moving. Also, when you click to any widget or see any unit, when you click here, you can see it in a minimap. Also, by clicking, you see the information. You can go to wrench key without leaving the dashboard mode. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. So, and also for the search option that I mentioned, here's the search. Again, as the reminder, you still can search for your units as an option here. It's available, but also you can search in, we don't have any video, Nimbus. So these are all units that are corresponding to the first letters of bus. So moving back to our webinar. The next feature that we introduced this quarter is the description for notifications, jobs, and reports. In these fields, like here you see for report template or notifications or jobs, you can specify custom information such as the reason for template creation, or give any recommendations on the execution or analysis of the report. Description text will be displayed in a report tooltip when you hover over on your report tab. So how exactly it works? Come here. Let's say we have a number of reports. We have our speeding report. So as usual, you see the usual information of the name of the template, the resource, type of the report for unit group, tables used, and below you see the description that this report was created for speeding for a unit group with a speed exceeding values. So right now you see how it looks like. In order, all descriptions happened to be on the settings side of the report. In a description, that's where I put it. That's where you can see it on the monitoring panel. So next update related to Wialon Hosting is on the speed notification. We have new option when unit moves without a driver. So it appears on the speed tab when you create a notification. Now it's possible to define the vehicles with the drivers who, for example, had not used iButton or RFID card when they started the trip. It's also effective for tracking the stolen cars. So how the notification works: if the set speed limit is exceeded and the trigger, if there is no assigned driver checked, the driver wasn't assigned manually or automatically, the system will generate a corresponding notification letting you know that the unit was moving, and if it's necessary for you, you know the car might be stolen, let's say. So that's how it looks in a mobile app. Also, by clicking on it, that's how it looks on the map. That's where you see where the car is right now. So how it looks in practice. We can go, excuse me, for notification and create a new one. As a reminder, you choose your resource first, then you choose the necessary cars. For the sake of the experiment, I'm choosing all of them. The trigger type will be speed. Then we will use the fixed speed limit. It doesn't matter. just for the sake of our practice is a fixed speed limit. Then to exaggerate and show you the trigger immediately, we'll put it 1, and then click trigger if there is no assigned driver. Click next. We want to see on a display pop up when the notification will trigger, and then that's the name, and we name it without driver. So now let's wait a little bit and see when the notification triggers. We should, as a reminder, we should see a pop-up window. See, indeed, the red bus was moving without the driver and another bus as well. So we got these notifications. Coming back to our updates. Next update was we added the new type of the report for geofence and a group of geofences. These new tables show which units and how many of them visited the selected geofence or a group of geofences at a given time. That's how an executed report looks like. We choose it for geofence, choose the object. In this case, it's geofence. Select the time frame, and here we see the detailed information. So how it looks in real life. We have our, let's delete this. We have our report. I already pre-created the geofence. Geofence report. So let's say I want to know how many cars and which cars visited Gurtam office for the last week. Probably it's my colleagues. So here's the report. You see a breakdown by a unit. These 4 units visited, total 14 times. The highest amount of visits belongs to this unit. And here you see a detailization of times this unit visited this particular geofence. When you go inside the geofence, that's how it looks like. Again, type among those geofence or group of geofences, and columns, pretty much whatever you need to put there. Settings, we sorted by number of visits and by unit. Also standard detailization on total. Also, please keep in mind when you scroll down, choose the units you want to control. Otherwise, the report won't work. So coming back to our next features, Wialon Mobile 2.0. We all remember that it was the biggest update since the first release. We had the Wialon Mobile 2.0 released on August 20th, and last month my colleague presented the webinar about the entire solution. So please refer yourself to that webinar. However, after it was published, we had a couple of more updates available, which I want to cover today. And those are the status tab inside the mobile app or a dashboard. Also, now you can work with geofences. So the first one is the status tab here. Again, as the reminder, work list if your work list contains 100 or more units, the status tab will be available by default. If you have less units, you can enable the dashboard service in a CMS manager in billing plan or account properties. So this tab provides the summary of information about the units from your work list. Here you can access the connection and motion state. Also see geofences where the units are located. This information is updated as new messages are received from the units. In order to open the status tab, you can select it in the navigation bar here. If and it happens if your status tab is not yet visible in the navigation panel, you can add it when clicking on these three dots in the right bottom corner, and then you click Edit button. You will see a menu, this one, available with all available tabs. So in order to add a necessary tab, in our case, it's a status, you just drag it towards the bottom of the panel. So by doing this, when you have the status tab, you click, the information on the tabs on the tab is displayed in 9 blocks. Again, in a dashboard in the monitoring panel, it's 5. Here it's 9. And the number in the status blocks, like this, 19 or 8, indicates the number of units. So online units that are connected to the server, offline units that are not connected to the server, stationary, the units that are not moving at the moment, stationary with ignition on, units with the ignition on, also when there's engine ignition sensor configured, moving, the units that are moving at the moment, LBS detected data, the units that have sent data using LBS detection, no actual state, and also no messages, and the geofences. And geofences, this block contains up to 3 geofences with the biggest numbers of units inside. And to open the full list, you can click on a Show All. Also, all these blocks are clickable. So when you click on one of those, let's say moving, you'll see the list of all units available. So, and as I mentioned before, the latest update that we presented about geofences. So right now on mobile app, you can create, edit, copy, and delete geofences, as well as create notifications about crossing their borders. So the Geofence tab consists of the following blocks. The search bar here, where you can search for geofence, the line with the area and the perimeter of the selected geofence, the map itself, and the list of geofences. By clicking on the plus button, you can start the creation of geofence. Please keep in mind, there's only circle-shaped geofences. You can create only circle-shaped geofences for now. Also, a long tap on a geofence in the list opens this menu, and depending on your access rights and the shape of geofence, the menu can contain the following features. Set or show the description of the geofence, edit geofence. For polygons and for lines, you can edit only their name, color, and description. For circles, you can also change the location and size. So next one is the copy geofence, again, only for circle-shaped geofences. Hide or make visible, like this. Also create a notification or delete the geofence. So that's the major update for the mobile app. Next one, we will move forward with our web applications. And the first one is the Nimbus updates. And this quarter, we presented bulk operations with schedules. You can now also associate groups of units with a route, as well as the new type of the report is available, unit group rights report. So the first one is we added the option of editing several selected schedules or all schedules at the same time that allow you to edit operation patterns, assign the unit to a schedule, or delete all schedules at once, let's say when they were imported by mistake. Also, we on the third tab, again, in the route tab, on the third tab of this panel, you see units. You can associate units with a route. Previously, you were only able to associate only units. right now you can do it within also with the unit group. So to associate a unit group with a route, you need to switch to a group mode. Also on the left side of the screen, you can select the group of units that were created in Wialon. If you have previously selected some units in the unit mode, they will be marked in a group as well. So also after saving, all units belonging to the group will be associated with a route. If a new unit is added to the group in Wialon, it will be associated with the route automatically as well. Again, as the reminder, it's not obligatory to associate units with a route. If no unit is there, all available ones are considered equally suitable for executing writes on a route. And the last update, the new type of the report by group writes. So each report line contains the data for one unit and one day. So now you don't have to build several separate reports for each unit individually. You can generate the report on all units and view detailed information on the writes by clicking on the lines here. So now I will show you how it looks like for Nimbus application. So I just need to move it for Nimbus. Okay, so first one, the routes. Here you see on a schedule, let me move here. On schedules, you can have the bulk editing of your, you click here, select items. So you can select couple or you can select all and perform all necessary steps for you. Edit or delete. Let's cancel this. Also for units, before, let's stop this. So before, in order to assign the unit to the route, you came here and just clicked where on the unit you want. Right now, you can choose a unit group. Let's say you have a pre-created unit group on your Wialon interface. So you click here, and all units that are associated with this group are available, and you just save it. And next, you are going to see the reports. Here we have unit rights and unit group rights. You select your object. Remember, in our case, it's Nimbus fleet. And I want to know what happened over the weekend, let's say. So I execute, and you see we have information for each unit individually for every date. So we click here, and we have all this information. We can also see it on the map. So that's the major update for Nimbus this quarter. Next one, last but not the least, is our maintenance app, Fleet Run. So this quarter we had a couple of updates. Among those are now you can import services from your Excel file to the system. Also bulk creation of services and intervals, as well as bulk editing of services is available. And now you can also hide unit location from the monitoring panel. So the first one is importing services from the file. So in order not to start everything from scratch, if you have all services somewhere in Excel, you can now import them to FleetRun. So the data can be imported for line items are the following: the name, type of service, and the cost. So name and type are required fields. By clicking on that cap on the corner, the system displays some instructions on the required data format. And this cap also gives you information on different options of the system, not only the import. So how it looks in real life. We go to FleetRun, we go to services, and that's where the button is situated, service import. So I have this Excel file where I have my oil and tire change. So, and I want to import it. Come here, click open. Please make sure that your data format coincides with what you choose. So for the US, it's a month, date, year. No, not this one. Okay. So you exclude the first column and you see the information. And here's the cap. So again, as I mentioned, gives you information about the service import as well as the different information about the different types of the services and system. So coming back. Next update was the bulk creation of services and intervals. So the feature helps you when, let's say, you have several units that are taken to the vehicle service station to perform the same set of services. So now to record this data in a system, you can activate the bulk operations button here and select necessary units. And the system gives you two options, either to create interval or create service for those units. Also for bulk editing of services, for example, you can change the state of the service in progress, closed, or rejected for a number of services. And again, this option is helpful when several units are taken to the service station for the same service at the same time. And later you have to update this information in the system. So depending on the tab you're working with, again, after the bulk operation tab or mode activation, you can change the date of your service, change the status to in progress, closed, or reject. Let's say if there is the need to edit these services when changing the status, you can do it with the edit button. So let me show you how it looks again in a fleet run. Coming back. So services, when you service object first. So here is the bulk operation button. You click here and you want to perform the same or register for two buses. So you can create an interval or create a service here simultaneously. Go into service objects, go into services. Let's say you need to perform, again, bulk operations button here, oil change. And here you either can change the date of this operation, or you can indicate whether this service is in progress, closed, or rejected. Let's say you want to close it. It happened. Before closing it, the system will give you information about this service by clicking here. You see all information that you put before. If you agree, everything is okay and right, you just click save. If you want to edit some information, you click on the edit button, and here you have simultaneously, you can do it in the same time. So that's how the system works. Actually, last but not the least, now you can hide the location of your unit on the dashboard. Let's say your fleet run is used by a mechanic whose main task is just, to perform the maintenance. It's not necessary for him to see where the actual unit location is. And in this case, you can disable this feature via go into administration panel, and you will see the number of your users. And in the geolocation tab, you can either enable or disable. So to show you, let me go back to FleetRun. Again, as the reminder, when you have units, you click here, you click here, you might see it on the map. Maybe it's loading. Let's see. It was here. So in case you want to disable this dashlet or the unit location, you can go to your administration panel. Let's say I want to disable, it's enabled everywhere. I want to disable for my video user. So I disable, and then I want to log in as him. Here's our dashboard with one unit. And when I click on a unit, I just don't have this option as the map at all. I still see all information that I need to see, but without unit location. So with that being said, that's all for this quarter updates for Wialon Hosting, Wialon Mobile, and web app. We have 5 minutes for your questions. Thank you.